Well, good morning, church. We are growing in the Proverbs, and we're going to start looking at Proverbs chapter 5 today. Proverbs chapter 5. So I'm going to read it. We'll lay out its structure and kind of give you the hints of what's going to go into that structure. So just listen as we read, and you'll probably be able to figure this out by now on your own, but let's look at it anyway. It says, "My son, be attentive to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, that you may keep discretion, and your lips may guard knowledge. For the lips of the forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps follow the paths to Sheol. She does not ponder the path of life. Her ways wander, and she does not know it. And now, O sons, listen to me, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the merciless. Lest strangers take their fill of your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner. And at the end of your life, you groan, when your flesh and body are consumed, and you say, how I hated discipline, and my heart despised reproof. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers, or incline my ear to my instructors. I am at the brink of utter ruin, in the assembly of the congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, flowing water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, streams of water in the streets? Let them be for yourself alone, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth, a lovely deer, a graceful doe. Let her breasts fill you at all times with delight. Be intoxicated always in her love. Why should you be intoxicated, my son, with a forbidden woman, and embrace the bosom of an adulteress? For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. The iniquity of the wicked ensnare him, and he is held fast in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and because of his great folly, he is led astray." Well, that's the pure reading of it, and church, this is Solomon's advice on sexuality, sex. And he's going to give two real warnings: the false charm of an adulteress, the fatal choice of that adulteress, and then the fulfilling of chastity. The fulfilling of chastity, if you heard that. And we're going to see that as it breaks out into the proverb. But let me show you how it breaks out, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out by now. My son starts the first one, and he identifies, my son, I'm listening. I'm giving fatherly advice again. Again, fatherly advice from a Jewish father who's going to be giving it from the commandments, the law of the Lord. And that travels down to verses 1 through 6, and then he repeats in 7 again. O sons, listen to me. And he begins again, another piece of teaching. This one is turned a little bit. So he teaches you about the forbidden woman, and then he teaches you the end, or what will come from that forbidden woman. But then there's not a clear my son in the next verse. But if you look at verse 12, he says, and you will say, and a quote starts about what you will say, his son, and then it ends at verse 14, when the quote of what you will say at the end of your life, if you do not heed his warning, stops. And then he starts giving commands. Drink water from your own cistern, flowing water from your own well. And so he starts speaking to his son again. And so there is the break again in the language. And so we're going to see those three breaks. It'll be the false charm in 1 through 6. It'll be a fatal choice in 7 through 14. And then it'll be fulfilling chastity of 15 down to 23. And we will observe those as we work through this week. And then we'll interpret them on Friday and apply them on Saturday again. Well, good morning, church, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.